Tommy, the last time I thought about this part of the state we're headed to was about 5 years ago, and it was the culmination.
Years ago?
It was the culmination of 2 years of frustration. Do you know what culmination means, Tommy?
Yes, accumulation.
Accumulation. Culmination is defined as the highest or climactic point of something, especially as attained after a long time.
Okay, so I was kind of wrong, but
You were kind of wrong. Yeah. I mean, when the snow falls, we don't call it a culmination. We've got a culmination of 2 inches. You fool. I was headed in this particular direction to meet an unknown stranger who I thought was about to change my life forever. A 3-hour trip to happiness after years of frustration. Certainly worth the drive, you would think.
Sure.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Speaking of frustrations, Tommy, another holiday came and went.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this Easter holiday?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you recognize it because certain retail establishments and Retail Paradise says that gainfully employ some people don't recognize it as an actual holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Is that hilarious?
Because it's
to you?
religious holiday.
Yeah.
You got to have separation of church and state, right?
Yeah, but they recognize Christmas all too well, don't they?
Well, Santa's real, Easter Bunny isn't.
Oh, man, that's some scandalous shit right there.
Santa was a real person.
Sure, retail, all this extra business must be some random calendar quirk in which people spontaneously decide to all gather with their families.
Hey, what happened to your 3-hour tour of West Michigan and then you just jumped into Easter?
How about that? We'll get there, won't
Okay. A little foreshadowing
we?
and then
Maybe.
jumping around like a Christopher Nolan film.
This is all Memento here, baby.
Did he do Memento?
Well, he did Memento. I'm not sure what you just said. Did he do That was live audio footage of Tommy having a massive stroke. How did you like
I'm
that?
good.
No.
I'm back.
For years now, there's been rumors and suggestions, an innuendo that someday retail might shift from flesh and blood miserable retail slave to fully automatic robotic workforce.
Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, your job is threatened, huh?
Well, in my opinion, that's the worst decision. That's the worst decision anyone
Minor
could
stroke.
possibly make.
Yeah, you don't like the robots taking over?
Well, I don't care if they take over all the shitty jobs, but I'm telling you, one holiday season all it would take for those robots. One busy weekend of rude olds and entitled housewives with resting bitch face would be all it took. One busy weekend full of the robotic retail slaves getting ran into, reached over, swarmed on for that missing foodstuffs. One weekend would be all it took, for the robots to understand.
Yeah.
This human is yelling at me because paper bags no longer have handles on them. This is the number one worry in their lives. Exterminate.
Yeah, but I saw a memory on my Facebook today.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go down Tommy's
Tommy's
hallway of
memory lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 years ago, I was inside a Kroger.
Oh, gross. The worst place you
in
could possibly...
Flushing, Michigan. And there was only 2 of the U-scans, lit up. And I usually don't use the U-scans, but it was really busy, and the U-scan area was not busy. And I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this person to get done doing what they're doing. And the person is an actual employee.
Mm-hmm.
And they're dusting the U-scan.
Oh.
That has the light on.
Sure.
So I go up behind them.
You're well within your rights to say, get the F out.
They know I'm standing there, so they keep going. They just keep going. And they keep going. So and they kind of look at me, and they keep going. Once they get over to, like, the little bagging area, the little circular thing where you spin the bags.
Sure.
I just go up and start scanning, and they look at me, and they go, ugh, and they walk away. All right?
Okay.
And so I just laugh. I laugh. And as they're walking away, I decide to turn around and go, is something wrong? They didn't say anything. They just kept walking.
The day Tommy grew a backbone.
Then they came back. Well, this
Confrontational
Tommy. This was a woman. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tommy hates women.
No, I'm just saying. If
expose.
it was a man, I'd be like, "Take your time, sir." I don't want any. Don't want any problems.
Tommy doesn't fear women. The epic story.
So she comes back and she's dusting the one next to me, and she keeps glaring at me. So I go, "Is there a problem?" And she goes, "Well, you could have waited until I was done."
Close my eyes.
So I say, "Wow, I've never been at a store where the customer waits for the employee." And then she just huffed and walked away.
Well, see, here's the problem.
So robots wouldn't do that shit.
Yeah, you know why? Because you walk up to a robot while they're quietly dusting their self-checkout spot, and you make some random fake cough noise at them, they'll fucking chop your head right off. You know why? Because they'll take one weekend of stupid flesh and blood retail consumers, get so frustrated, that'll usher in that robot apocalypse everybody's watched in the movies and read in the novels.
Yeah, maybe.
That'll happen. Terminator, Skynet, all because retail.
Robot's going to have some feelings, some AI, some artificial intelligence.
It's not even feelings. It's logic and common sense. This person's acting irrational. Let's put it down.
Irrational? I was waiting on an employee. You don't do that at a store. They wait on you.
Okay. So
Okay.
instead of saying words such as "excuse me," you made a
She saw
fake
me.
cough noise.
She saw me. She was being rude.
Okay. She saw you, so you went.
Well, after a long time of standing there.
What are you there? 15 minutes?
No, but come on, move it. I was in customer service.
What
for a
were you
long
buying that was so urgent?
time. I don't know, probably a Diet Mountain Dew and rotisserie chicken, I would guess.
This rotisserie chicken isn't getting any balmier.
But seriously, I was in customer service for like 10 years. You don't make the customer wait.
You don't make that customer wait.
You let them go. Move
You
out
let
of
'em
their
go.
way.
Move out of their way.
Absolutely.
You think a robot's going to bow to your will?
Well, the robot, it probably, I don't know. I guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah, I guess we will see. Because you use that same self-checkout line, and guess what? That little shit gets real pissy with you if you put in a folded-up dollar bill. If you don't have that item firmly in that bag, it says, remove that item.
Not at Walmart.
Oh,
They don't
not
give a
at
shit anymore.
Walmart. They don't care.
They don't.
Anything
I
goes.
don't even bag half of my shit anymore.
Excellent. You know what? Walmart's going to be the first ground zero of the robot apocalypse. You put those son of a bitchin' robots in there, they don't give a single F, apparently. So anything goes there. It's slaughter time. Any rando in their PJ pants is getting maimed that day for their rude attitude.
I got a rude attitude.
So this is the moral of the story, the bottom line, because Stone Cold Randy said so. If you decide retail robot employees is a good idea, I think you need to readjust your point of view, because you're wrong. Technology is good and bad. Technology is how I'm recording this podcast right meow. Technology is how I met that unknown stranger that one day that I was traveling 3 hours to see. Technology is how I'm able to drop that beat, D-boy.
Put it in. We're drinking summer shandy on Thursday. We so motherfucking out here, though. We never been this out here. Woo! What you know about Leonard Skinner? The whacker the intro, the hotter the verse every time, baby. Well, I've been working like a working man do. Got my act together, gonna walk all over you. Pressure pushing down on me, pushing down on you. Shit, let's raise the roof. Woo! About time, it's the era of the rebels. Cloud 9 in the air up in the vessels. Generation fearless, got a taste for weirdness. Flow on fire, that's the way my beard is. Hard times, jump starting the grind. It's all good, y'all. Things fall apart sometimes. Let it go, let me know when you're ready, though. Don't push me, cuz until the edge I'm close. When the time comes, ride for something. Or live to be 90 and then just die for nothing. Speak their heart, your baby, speak their mind. And I'ma play their part, and I'ma freak that rhyme one time for you. Rhyme one time for you. I'm an island, man. There ain't nothing else by me, man. And I drink enough whiskey to float a battleship around this bitch any motherfucking how.
Welcome to the Miserable Retail Slave Show. We're coming to you from the pod car outside beautiful Flint, Michigan, USA. And my name is Randy. Tommy's driving over there like Miss Daisy.
Yeah, distracted driving.
Distracted driving. Entertaining your punk asses whilst we hurtle down the road at a terrific speed.
Yeah,
Very terrific.
yeah.
We're headed to a Tommy gig, but
A Tommy gig.
a Tommy gig, yeah. It's going to be a good time for everybody.
Ugh.
Tommy, the weather is getting better in this Michigan state of ours.
It's supposed to snow tomorrow.
Spring is around the corner, Tommy.
It's supposed to snow tomorrow night.
Yeah, but guess what?
What?
Doesn't matter. Those yards are still full of those anxious dads just ready to get that first lawn trimming in.
I fucking.
They're just shaking with
We
anticipation.
just passed a guy in a tractor.
They're so. I was on
Lawnmower.
on my way over to your lair,
Yeah.
and there was some granddad mowing the side of the road, throwing gravel at my car. I'm like, really, granddad? Must you?
That's why whenever I go out and mow that side of my lawn, I make sure that the thing is blowing back
Well,
into my
that's
yard.
what a conscientious person does. This man had no cares in the world. He's like, I'm going to die in 3 years. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah, old
I'll
people
put
don't
all
give
the
a shit,
gravel
do
in
they?
all the vehicles. Who gives a hoot?
If had it happen to me, it's time for it to happen to you.
Dadgummit, I'm just trying to pass the buck on. Man, it's almost a sexual situation with these lawn dads, though.
Sexual.
Oh, it is. You got to roll that lawn. You got to smooth it out. You got to lay down that fertilizer. Maybe trim those bushes. Whack those weeds a little bit.
Well, I'm trying to
Ooh.
make it to May so I can have a couple beers while doing it.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, hopefully the snow tomorrow night kills all this fucking grass that's getting all happy.
You think you can handle all that lawn foreplay before the main event of mowing that lawn?
I don't want to mow the lawn. I mean, I know it's my responsibility, and I don't hate it. But if I can push
You think
it
you
off-
got to be drunk to mow down?
No,
You
it just
think?
makes it fun.
Oh,
And I don't get drunk.
what a sexual partner Tommy is.
Not
Got to be
drunk.
drunk to do it.
Just a couple tall boys.
Okay. I mean, you need to fully embrace your dadhood, Tommy. You need to become a lawn dad. Your own blessed father fixes lawnmowers. It seems
Yeah.
like lawn dadism is right in your blood.
Right, yeah, I don't mind mowing the lawn. I really don't. It's just the time, I guess. You know,
Oh,
it takes me a
jeez.
long time. I got a huge yard.
A huge
It
yard.
takes me about 3 hours. So.
I mean, just imagine it, Tommy. I want you to put this picture in your pretty little head. You're just a dad with your mower and your floppy hat, riding that steel horse. You're just that yard cowboy on his acre-long prairie, wearing those white New Balances stained green. Those are your cowboy boots. Oh, my God. You're going to conquer that frontier.
I
that
don't.
Lawn.
I have black Walmart shoes.
Hmm.
I don't play that game. Well, we don't play that.
Those can still be stained green, sir. It's warming up, and I can tell you it's warming up because I can smell people.
Really? Can you smell me?
No, you're okay.
All
but
right.
I can
Showered
tell.
twice today. So it's-
I can tell how warm it's getting by how stinky the people are getting. You walk into a room and you risk getting that secondhand stank all over yourself, and
big
it's
whiff.
enough to make you gag your day's lunch all over the place.
I smelled some people a couple weeks ago. I was doing a show in Saugatuck,
Soggy
Michigan.
Tuck.
Saugatuck, Michigan, and I was walking around a beautiful little downtown, and I was
Beautiful saggy
I
tech.
mean, yeah, just a tourist.
Why
it's
do I
awesome.
feel so dirty when I say saggy tech?
Because
Ugh.
yeah, it's Saugatuck, but yeah, I don't know if
That's not even better.
right?
No.
And
What kind of racial slur is that, sir?
So I'm walking around the town, and it's beautiful, and it was a nice day. It was probably 55 degrees, maybe, so it wasn't too warm. But I stop inside this bar, and I order an Old Duels, and I'm sitting there, and I'm drinking my Old Duels, and this punk rock couple comes in, and they sit next
Punk
to me.
rockers. Shit.
Boy, do they fucking reek.
Well,
That was just BO to the masses.
BO to the max, man.
Yeah, and I hear them talking about the show, and they can't be late for the show, and they want to. How fucking drunk are you? Well, I'm really drunk. And yeah,
I love
so
it.
am I.
I love
we
that
can't be late
attitude.
to the show. And Saugatuck has a lot of bars, so I'm
Sure.
assuming there's a lot of shows going on. Oh, guess who happens to be right in the front row of my show later that night?
Oh man,
The two stinky punk rockers. I couldn't smell them from stage.
you didn't see that green mist rise up?
It was bad though. at the
Fucking
bar.
Pigpen and
Yeah.
Pony Sally there.
I usually don't notice too much stenches, but man, that was burning my nose.
You don't notice too many stenches.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I think you know me enough to know I'm not very observant.
Yeah, but it smells like if you caught a strong whiff of a
I
rancid
smelled that
man,
one.
you would
Yeah, well, I did.
take note.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was bad.
Did you look at that? Did they have tattoos?
They were both wearing leather jackets, but they had
Oh.
like the size of their head shaved and long hair in the back. You know,
Tattoos on the side of the head?
I don't think so. Not that I
Interesting.
saw, but I think the guy took off his jacket and he had some punk tattoos. I guess.
Punk tattoos, I guess.
They weren't very nice, but they weren't prison tattoos.
Little social distortion all over
Yeah,
the place.
probably. Yeah, little misfits or something.
Yeah. Tommy, when we started this podcast almost 7 years ago, that's right, folks, our 7-year anniversary is coming right up. Y'all excited for that? I'm giving you a moment to cheer and clap.
Yay!
Okay. I was an unemployed man. I don't know if you knew this about me. I was unemployed when we started this PCast.
Really?
Yeah, I'd
Now you
lost.
have 2 jobs.
Huh?
Now you have 2 jobs.
Now I'm overburdened by life. But back then, man, I lost my job at 13 years, and I was just lost and directionless and bored and lonely. So, man, I took to that Twitter of all things. I started finding my purpose in this life 140 characters at a time.
Twitter was around 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was. Get on your social media history lesson, son.
I don't use Twitter. You know that.
It was 2012, if you must know. I was 30 years old. I was trying to reinvent my identity. You know how hard it is to reinvent your identity at 30 years old?
I know a guy that does it about every 2 or 3 years. You can probably talk to him.
Do ya? Who is this?
You know.
Do I?
Yeah.
Can we talk about him? He sheds his skin like a snake and becomes the dorkier version of himself. I remember this guy used to come into the hardware store where I worked for 13 years. And we had 2 gumball machines in this store. And they were his property. He owned these gumball machines. He was the gumball mogul of mid-Michigan.
And he just took all the change out of them.
He did. And it was
What a vendor. Huh?
Right. It was fascinating because he used to talk about the gumball politics of getting his gumball machines in other stores. Like, you got to beat the rival gumball machine owners. You got to get that lucrative gumball machine contract, you know?
I do 2 for 25 cents.
And he would just sit there and bitch. Yeah, Stan Sugar-Free Smith trying to pull the muscle to my balls. I don't know what this guy's name was. Probably like Don Chipmunk Cheeks Marquez or something. But, man, one day he was there. And the only reason I know I overheard this conversation is because we used to have this guy that came in named Fred.
Okay.
Oh, God.
You liked Fred or you didn't like Fred? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm sure Fred wouldn't.
So Fred came in to quiz him about the great gumball wars because Fred saw old great gumball himself in their emptying machine. What are you doing there? Because that's how he talked. He was a regular in our store, God bless him, and he was a bit of a scurvy dog, and he had about 357 foster children, God bless him,
Yeah.
as I said.
Okay.
But the other thing about Fred is he had one of those real severe stutters.
Okay.
Like that engine in his brain would start and sputter and try to rev up again. And when he finally got whatever word out that he was trying to spit out, it'd come out as a bark. So if he was trying to say like place, he was just like place, you know.
Uh-huh.
He would actually sometimes sound like the breakdown in a corn song. Bark. He would.
Oh, I hate corn. So yeah, I would not like it.
Well, fucking Fred. You listen to this man converse, and it was pretty painful sometimes. So it was a bit hard for old Fred to communicate every now and then. Same with me back then in 2012 when I lost my job. It's hard to reach outside my realm of unemployment. I was locked in my little shell of boredom and loneliness, and like all of my friends seemed to be busy or pretended to be. Oh no, Randy, can't go out tonight. So I had a lot of free time to contemplate whatever. So I got into that Twitter.com. I typed down my wry observations and my sarcastic humors
Yeah.
because I do have both. I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but I'm so wry.
At you from different angles.
Oh my God! And I was entertaining a mass audience of dozens.
Oh,
Like, some things never change, right? So I found this group of tweeters that would live tweet during, like, movies and Tigers baseball games, because I love those Tigers.
yeah,
And so I found my little niche there. Niche?
yeah. Either one.
Nicheless cage? I don't know. The internet always isn't the worst place. I mean, once in a while, there's certainly enough unwashed trash bags out there in the world on that internet.
Yeah. Some creepers.
There's some creepers. They're littering those streams of that World Wide Web. They're out there. But I've met a lot of fun and interesting and amazing people along the way.
Oh wow. Really?
And here's my favorites listed in order from best to worst.
Doug Goodwin.
Doug Goodwin, number one. But it's also a place of cultural consciousness, Tommy.
You think so?
We're getting deep about this. Yes, I know so. Because we all speak the same language thanks to the internet. We all know what LOL means.
Yeah.
We all know what
Even
FML
the
means.
grandmas.
Even gray mammies.
Yeah. Some WTFs.
We know some WTF. We laugh at the same memes sometimes.
Sure.
Some of them are totes hilarious.
Yeah, the good ones.
The good ones.
The ones with the mass appeal.
The good ones, the Doug Goodwins are hilarious. We experience same things at the same exact time thanks to the fucking internet. How about that dress? Is it blue and gold or blue and gray or
Yeah, that was creepy.
gouge your eyes out? Who cares?
Right.
It's a place where stupid words like selfie and Google and Yahoo make sense.
Oh.
Yahoo! Can you yodel?
Yeah. I cannot. Can you?
I cannot yodel. I wish that'd be a great
We
skill.
need a yodel.
That's a good skill to have.
Yodel-lady-hoo.
Oh, that was freaky. You look like a mountain goat herder.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you just need a straw hat of some sort.
I'm a mountain man.
Well, mountain goat herder, it's different. Mountain man and mountain goat herder are not the same things. I'm
Well.
sorry.
You have your opinion. I have mine.
I certainly have my opinion, and my opinion's usually right and yours is wrong. So it'd be a nice skill to have, that yodeling. I read this article this week on the internet, that wonderful place, about the Yahoo yodeler.
Huh?
You know how Yahoo used to have the Yahoo?
Yeah.
And you don't think about it, really, because you hear these things and you're like, you don't really comprehend that somebody actually sat down and thought about it and prepared for it.
It's like the
and
sit, boo, boo, sit.
Yeah, exactly. And spent all day recording a yodel for this.
Right.
And I come across this article on the World Wide Web about the Yahoo yodeler. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I read it. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So the man behind the yodel, his name was Wiley
Gustafson?
Gustafson.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, that's the guy from Grumpy Old Men.
Really?
Gustafson.
That's
Right?
very hard to say. What a dumb name.
That was Mathau's last name, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Pretty sure.
He grew up in Montana, and he learned how to yodel from his father named Rib. His father was named Rib.
Rib Gustafson.
Right?
Something tells me it might not have been his real name.
Oh, what a kick-ass nickname, though, right? Jesus Christ.
How'd you get that name?
Yeah. I got the ribs.
Drop the chicken.
Gustafson said, my dad would yodel whenever he was happy, which would probably be a problem in the bedroom, I would think.
Oh.
You.
Yoo-hoo! That's how they got the thing, right?
He would never fake it. Yahoo!
Go ahead.
On
Sorry.
long summer days in the early 70s, Gustafson would spend hours yodeling. By 13, he locked down the basics from the slow, ethereal Northern Plains yodels. I love myself a good, slow, ethereal Northern Plains yodel.
Yeah. Yahoo!
To the fancy cowboy yodels derived from Northern Europe. How are there so many genres of the yodel?
In Northern Europe.
Yeah.
The Northern Europe cowboy yodel.
Damn, they yodeling their fool heads off up in that joint.
European yodelers, huh?
By 86, he was in L.A., and he had a band called Wiley and the Wild West Show, because of course he did.
Wait, by 1986, right?
1986.
Not
What did I say?
86 years old, right?
No. He said, one night I went up on stage and just cranked out a yodel, and everyone stopped, put down their drinks, and listened. It was then that I realized the true power of the yodel. You got to harness that power, son.
Yes, sir.
Harness that yodel power.
Like the yodel lady who.
You changing hearts and minds with that yodel.
The Wiley. What was it? Wiley?
Wiley and Rib. In the early 90s, advertisements were going for quirkiness. Believe it or not, the two hottest trends in advertising were surf music and yodeling, says Gustafson. I became the go-to yodeler for those ads. One day, the ad agency he worked for phoned him up with an offer. They said they had this little internet startup by the name of Yahoo that was looking for a yodel. Founded 2 years earlier as Jerry's Guide to the World Wide Web. Did you know this?
Jerry's Guide.
Jerry's Guide to the World Wide Web.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't it, though? Yahoo is one of the pioneers of the early internet era. So for national campaigns, Gustafson would receive union scale pay, which meant residuals every time a commercial aired. But since Yahoo was supposed to be regional, he accepted a one-time payment of $590.38. Oh, Wiley, you naive cowpoke. I went down to a studio in I tried a yodel studio, apparently. I went down to a studio in L.A. and in 10 minutes knocked out 20 to 30 different 3-second yodels. Then I went home and forgot all about it.
Aww.
2 years later, during the Super Bowl, he heard his yodel in a national Yahoo ad. I jumped up and said, wait a minute, that wasn't the deal. Nobody had told me that Yahoo was going to make my yodel the defining sound of the company. He wrote a letter to his ad agency, and they promptly sent him another check of $590.38.
Wow, so he got paid twice.
Yeah. However, that wasn't good enough for the master yodeler himself. He took those sons of bitches to court. Originally, we had asked for $5 million. The final amount wasn't quite there, but it was a pretty good fraction of that. He got a life-changing amount of money for his 3-second yodel.
How much you get?
Less than $5 million,
Ah,
but definitely in the millions.
well, good for Gustafson.
Right?
Gustafson.
For your stupid skill.
I'm 90% sure that was Walter Matthau's last name and Grumpy Old Men. So.
Do you have any skill you could whore out for 3 seconds and make $5 million, Tommy? I mean, because let's get on it now.
I don't know, man.
Jesus.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I don't have any skills, so
I mean, we're all capable of something, I guess.
we're all capable of the most amazing things.
Is it Wiley still alive?
Oh, yeah. For a while, they used him at conferences and stuff and personal appearances and like get your photo taken with the Yodel guy, I guess. I don't know.
Mr. Yodel.
Yeah.
Wiley Yodel.
So I got into Twitter,
Yeah.
and I started interacting with this girl named Emily.
Okay.
And we really started to hit it up.
How'd you meet Emily?
On the Twitter. She was in one of those baseball
Oh, I just asked you.
thingies.
Baseball thingies. I don't know
Yeah.
what that is.
She was one of the people live tweeting Tigers games.
Okay.
That's kind of how I got to know her. So we started talking via the Twitter at first.
Live tweeting Tiger. Who's that for?
People back in 2012.
But why would they want to live tweet it instead of just watch it on TV?
It's a bunch of people. It's like watching a game with a bunch of people.
Okay. I see. So you're not just getting your information from the
No,
tweets.
you're watching the game and like
Okay.
giving your opinions and
Okay, I
like
see. Having a
what is-
conversation about
yeah,
the game.
having a convo in real
Enjoying the
time.
game together.
I
Okay.
mean, a whole community of people talking shit and what a whole
Why did he
community
swing
of
at that sort of thing?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Bunch of people bitching basically.
That wasn't a strike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is where the internet turned evil. Huh?
This is where the internet turned bad, definitely because of Twitter. So we started interacting on that Twitter, replying first, and then I slid right into those DMs.
You can DM people on Twitter?
Hell yeah, you can. I slid into those MFers. Kidding me? Holla at your boy sliding into those DMs, dog.
What
Give
was
me
your
some
first
props.
tweet to her? Hey, Emily.
I don't remember, honestly.
I'm
Who
not
knows?
creepy.
I'm not creepy at all.
This sounds creepy, don't it?
Want to see my nipple? So, for whatever reason, we started chatting every night
Uh-huh.
on the Twitters, and eventually I got those digits even.
Ooh.
I started texting that girl. Oh, my God.
Texting in 2012?
How about that? You ever have a strictly textual relationship with a woman, Tommy?
Nope.
Oh, it can be great. I mean, sometimes there's a lot of textual frustration, lots of semicolons, lots of colons, lots of lost in translations.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, you bet.
A lot of miscommunications.
A lot of misconnections, if you will. Oh, but soon the discussion turned to possibly meeting in that IRL, that in real life.
Oh,
my
IRL.
God.
Wow.
Can you believe it? Here's the problem with this, though. She always seemed to be busy, first off.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, red flag 1.
Red flag 1. This was 2013. Meeting people in real life off the internet didn't seem as common back then.
Right.
Or maybe just because I hadn't done it before, and I'm the pioneer in all things. So,
Right. No, I
and
agree.
she lived 3.5 hours away, so what the hell?
Right.
When is that going to happen? Not impossible, but highly impractical.
Right.
But really, the main problem was I was 30 years old, and unemployed, and I just didn't take chances like that back then. I didn't. I was never a risk taker. I was never an adventurer. I was never a thrill seeker. I mean, over the last few years, I feel like I finally cracked out of my shell a little bit.
Look at you. You're going 3 hours across the state with me tonight.
I know. How about that? I'm no longer a wallflower. I ain't no Jacob Dylan.
This is a big trip for Randy.
This is a big trip for little Randy. God damn. It used to be so bad. Like, I was that way even when I was a kid. I didn't want to take chances or anything.
Yeah.
Like, when I was 5 or something, I wouldn't even get up to use the bathroom. I would sit, and this is the most annoying thing a child could possibly do. I would...
Well, getting up to go to the bathroom is not taking a risk.
No, but listen, to me it was apparently. Because... I'm surprised my parents didn't toss me in a river with a very strong current.
Yeah.
Because when I had to go to the bathroom, I would lay in my bed and scream at the top of my lungs, I gotta go potty, until I got permission to go.
What? Why?
I have no idea.
Huh.
I have no idea. I would do it for like 10 minutes until somebody was like, go to the bathroom!
And then you could go.
And then I went, yeah.
Okay. So this sounds like you followed the rules all the time.
Yeah, but that wasn't a rule that was ever set in place.
Right, but,
But-
you know my story is similar to that. When I was like 3 and 4, every time I thought of a bad word, I had to run and tell my parents that I was thinking of a bad word.
Did you tell them the bad word?
Yeah, they made me tell them the bad word, and they'd say, "See, nothing happened." I'm saying, "But you were telling me I'm not supposed to say it."
Mom, I'm just thinking of the word cunt. Tommy!
Just staring old great Aunt Lucia right in the eyes, like, I don't know why I'm thinking of it. Couldn't tell you why.
Maybe because your potato salad had no flavor at all.
White people potato salad.
You're just as bland as your skin color.
It's funny because my dad saw this guy the other day at Lucky's, and he was telling me about it because one day we were over at a barbecue, and he's the guy that cured me of this. He's not a psychologist. He's Miller High Life drinking barbecue and badass from 1980.
He's one of those Miller High Life
6.
psychologists.
Probably. Yeah. And so apparently at a barbecue, I ran up to my dad and I'm crying, Dad, I'm thinking of a bad word. And this guy goes, what the hell? So my dad explains the situation to him that every time I think of a bad word, I cry and I feel guilty and I have to confess.
Wait, is this the guy that gave you your first sip of beer?
No. It should have been, right?
Yeah.
It probably was.
That would have been the
it
best
just
origin story.
blacked me out, so I don't remember that.
Then he pushed me down and poured beer all over me, and I transformed into the Tommy Monster.
Yeah, so my dad explains this guy, and this guy just can't believe it because he's normal, right? and he's like, God damn, I'll whip your ass. You ever think of another motherfucking bad word again? You ever think of a bad word again? I'll whip your ass. And he's like 2 feet from my face. He's doing those things where guys did when they had their jeans cut into jorts.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his hands on his knees and his trucker hat. And he's screaming in my face that he'll whip my ass.
A real rebel badass.
I got over that real quick. I never had that problem anymore.
Oh, man.
My anxieties just went elsewhere.
Do you have an aversion to people in jorts now? You think they're all going to whip that ass? But anyways, 3.5 hours away, not Not impossible.
Right.
Not practical either.
Yeah. Meet me halfway, Am.
Hey, meet me halfway. You know, like that Black Eyed Peas song.
Is it?
It is. It's horrible.
I was thinking of the
Over the Top. Yeah.
Meet me halfway.
How about that Kenny
Is that
Loggins?
Kenny Loggins?
Yep.
Yeah. Across the sky.
If ever you refer to a song from a movie in the 80s, it's Kenny Loggins.
Or Lindsey Buckingham,
Okay, well,
right? The Vacation song.
I still maintain that Kenny Loggins has a vault of music for every movie ever
Scenario.
filmed. Yeah, he's
Or
like,
just every movie scenario.
yeah, well, Fast and the Furious 18, fuck the cars, we're riding dinos now. He's like, I got a song for that.
It's like, man, if they ever write a movie about a guy that lives in a trailer park and he decides to go killing people at night.
I got a ballad written strictly for Vin Diesel. It's called Diesel Power. He must have, I want to raid his archives. He must have so much recorded music. Like, he's been living off Top Gun residuals for years.
Well, you know he was Loggins and Messina, right?
Yeah,
the 60s. And
nobody
your mama
care
don't
about that.
dance and your daddy don't rock
That's
and
gross.
roll.
I want to know about
But
the
I
Danger
do-
Zone.
Danny's song is good.
Danny's song.
You know, right?
Danny's song.
Do you know it?
Danny's song.
You know, you don't know it. That's
I didn't think that was a Loggins song.
the even though we ain't got money.
Oh, I like that.
I'm so in love.
That's Kenny
with you, honey.
Loggins?
It's Loggins and Messina.
What's a
Everything.
Messina? What?
Joe D. Messina.
Okay.
I
Did-
think. Maybe
did he
that's-
do a-
I think it was actually Joe D. Messina's dad or something.
Did he do a song on Rambo 2 First Blood Part 2?
Why did Loggins?
No, but somebody should have.
I'm not sure who Messina is, but I know Joe D. Messina was a country artist in the
Interesting.
80s, so it's probably somebody to do with her or
Huh.
him.
But anyways, not an impossibility. One day, I got a wild hair up my ass, though.
Yeah?
And I was going to take action. I was going to be crashing at the Pauly Walnuts house in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, USA.
Sure.
I was going to be crashing there. And I kind of conned him into going into this adventure with me.
Yeah, and you guys were heading to Muskegon?
Well, it was not technically Muskegon.
What was the city? Do you remember?
Well, yes. See, I wanted somebody to go along with me because I wasn't sure what I'd find when I got to my destination, you see.
Might have found an Ernest instead of an Emily.
Maybe. Because, for example, I learned along the way that her name wasn't actually Emily. It was Stephanie, and she lived in a small town called Shelby and not Grand Haven. So I had a case of mild kitten fishing at that point. Not quite cat fishing, kitten fishing. Enough to make me a little screwy in the head.
Couldn't call Nev.
Couldn't call Nev and Max to really put the screws to this wench.
Yeah, so you call Paul.
I called Paul instead, you know. Got some,
You take what you get.
yeah, a little fuzzy on the details there. That's okay. She didn't expect to meet somebody on Twitter. Okay, I get it, but it was enough to make me want to take somebody with me.
Sure.
Because Pauly Walnuts is a manly man of the highest order. If Ernest is there, he gonna kick that ass, that Ernest
Sure.
ass. You know what I mean, Vern? So here's one of the fatal flaws about this trip. I didn't tell her we were coming to town.
Oh, wow. Why wouldn't you do that?
Well, because I'm an idiot. I wanted it to be a surprise. I thought it would be a real romantic reveal if I just randomly showed up.
That's
And all of a
creepy
sudden,
as
why
shit.
does a car smell like a stink bomb was set off in the boys' bathroom?
I don't know. That's
What
weird.
is that smell? It makes
I
me
think
want to...
it's outside at home.
Whatever small town USA we're driving through, y'all stink, okay?
Yeah, I hope
That's that secondhand stink I was talking about earlier.
I hope it's not my car.
Instead of tear gas, somebody needs to set off, Axe body spray bombs around this joint.
Right.
Make it
It's like
smell like Phoenix.
Rotten eggs here.
Gross.
Phoenix is the best flavor.
The best flavor? Is
Flavor
that how
and
you
scent.
describe a scent?
Scent.
Man, that's weird.
You don't shoot it in the back of your mouth for your sore throat.
Got some Banaka? I don't need Banaka. I got Axe body
Yeah.
spray. Give me some of that fucking Phoenix.
Right. Affliction shirt guys use the Phoenix.
Makes my breath smell like Phoenix and it trips my balls off.
You smell it when I fart.
So on the way to Mount Pleasant, I debated whether or not to spring these details on this Pauly Walnuts because I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to go through with it. And I was meeting him for lunch, and over lunch, I opened my mouth and all the details split out.
Okay.
spit out. And he agreed to go along on this caper with me because I think he wanted to watch the train wreck in person. Because who wouldn't, honestly?
Saw the desperation in your eyes.
I had some desperation going on there.
I said, please, Paul.
Please, Paulie, please. Give this to me, sir.
Like, okay, quit crying, Randy. We'll go.
Now, GPS back then was even less reliable than it is now.
Right.
This was
Well.
2013. Well, you're having issues today, even. So, I mean, but it used to be you had to navigate by the North Star, the direction of the wind, and a prayer sent directly to Odin to get anywhere in this world.
Type out the MapQuest.
Yeah, that's what I actually did because I had
Do
a
it all the time.
I had a shitty ass BlackBerry.
Yep.
And the GPS on that was punk ass. So I typed it into MapQuest, print out those directions.
Yep.
We found those directions from that MapQuest on the internet. But even now, my GPS is the weirdest thing. I think my operating system's drunk on the rum or something because it's even still, it takes me on the... My GPS seems to have some sort of backwoods spirit. It takes me on the most remote routes possible. I'm like an Indiana Jones man when I take this GPS. Like, when I drive to a new place, I'm dodging all these giant boulders and hangry cannibals, which is the worst type of hangry.
Worst
ever.
type of cannibal.
Yeah, hangry.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oof. And also roundabouts. That's the most dangerous thing known to man.
Yeah, sure.
Have you ever successfully conquered a roundabout?
I did, and it was recently on me and Matt Holt's trip up to Duluth, Minnesota and back.
Did you let out a whoop and a cheer?
Yeah, well, yeah. Because I asked him how I could, this was on the way home, so we'd been through many roundabouts, and I asked him how he could get me on a cruise line to do comedy, and he said, well, why don't we get you to figure out the roundabout first?
Right. They're like an escape room, but played in your car on the road, surrounded by several other cars and idiot drivers.
Yeah, and
it's
you just
horrible.
gotta guess.
Yeah, like how do I solve this clue?
How do I know where he's getting off at? I
Yeah.
don't.
How do I solve this clue? The road that I want is right there.
Yeah.
I can see it, but I have to do 2 360s, a 180, and kiss the ceiling of my roof to unlock the secrets of how to get to that
Yes.
secret
Yes.
route.
And-
How do I do it?
Hopefully nobody decides to exit the roundabout when I'm coming at them.
Oh. Now, I don't know if you know this or not about Mount Pleasant, Michigan, USA. It's a busy college town
Yeah.
full of
Casino.
life.
Yeah.
A big casino.
They have a Meijer there.
They have a Meijer. That's a sign of a bustling metropolis.
Sure.
Once you leave those city limits in either direction, though, it's no holds barred, redneck city, USA.
We just passed a cop, and I just couldn't imagine if he was looking in the car going, are those microphones?
Are those microphones? Or is that a Molotov cocktail? Maybe I should pull those fuckers over.
Anyway, back to Mount P.
And I found out that it's Redneck City, USA in all directions because my GPS and my freaking BlackBerry, as I said before, the worst. So I printed out directions from that MapQuest. Trying to get to that mythical small town of Shelby to meet my princess. Well, we're driving 2 miles outside of Mount Pleasant, USA. We end up on some dirt road somewhere in the middle of nowhere. It's like we entered Narnia. There's talking lions, goat men, elves around. There was a deer walking down the center of the street. Like, hey, bud, what are you doing? It's 3 p.m. Why are deer roaming the earth?
You guys got 2 miles outside of Mount Pleasant, and you're already nervous.
We're already nervous, already scared,
Lost.
crying for help. We're like, how do we even do this? We got lost outside the city 2 miles.
4 college degrees between you both.
City slickers can't deal, I guess. So it takes hours to reach our destination finally.
Yeah.
You're
going through small towns the whole way, though.
the whole way. So you're in a godforsaken stretch of land when the radio station you're listening to changes formats and you don't change the radio frequency. It's like, this is 101.5, the Coffee Bean. You're listening to nonstop audio caffeine for your ears with a shot of sass. Next up, the latest from Justin Bieber, My Ankles Are Dope. You're like, I have never even heard of that song. What is this? New songs, new world? A whole new world.
A dazzling place you never knew.
So we're driving through the bareliest of barely towns.
Like this one that we just drove through.
Absolutely. And I don't know what the bare minimum is to earn a zip code. But these these towns were barely passing. Like one town I expected, it was called Hesperia. I was expecting like official signs put up by official government people saying "Welcome to Hesperia." Instead, some industrious citizen put up a piece of plywood, spray painted with the words "Welcome to Hesperia."
That's Bob's sign.
That's Bob's sign.
I've been to Hesperia.
Work of Bob.
I've been through Hesperia. The whole time I remember I was on my motorcycle and I was just singing Hesperia.
Were you hysteria in
You
Hesperia?
get that feeling when you don't believe it.
So we finally get to Shelby, Michigan, USA. We pass a bar called the Brown Bear.
Oh, did you go in?
No, we
What?
should have. Listen,
What? If you pass a bar in a small town, especially when it has a cool name like that, you have to go in.
the best part was it seemed to be constructed completely of shipping crates from some unknown freighter. Like some massive ship ended up on land somehow, and they just ransacked it and built this bar out
The
of it.
remnants of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that's where it went. But I'm so excited because I finally get to meet this person that I've been talking to and getting to know for so long. It's going to be a great meeting and everything is awesome. I text her and I'm in town. I say I'm here. She'll be so excited that her dashing prince is finally in town. Tommy, the last time I thought about this part of the state we were headed to was 5 years ago. And it was a culmination of 2 years of frustration. Do you remember what the word culmination means, Tommy?
Kind of like accumulation, right?
Kind of like accumulation. Culmination, the highest or climactic point of something, especially as attained after a long time. And it's certainly apropos here because the culmination of 2 years of frustration was more frustration. I get into town. I text her I'm there. Her response was not of excitement, but fear and shock and surprise. She's like, why didn't you... Yeah. She was like, why didn't you tell me you were coming? This is too much.
Person.
Maybe, I guess. And my response was, you don't want to see me? I drove all this way. And her response was, what did you expect to happen?
Good question, right?
Damn. Well, I don't know. I expected a Disney-style song and dance number declaring our love for each other. I don't know. Something other than a cold, hard punch to the gut.
Like making out in the back seat. On
Making
the way back
out?
To Mount P with
I
Paul.
definitely envisioned some kissing. I'll tell you that. Maybe a strong hug, you know?
Randy.
Yeah. Some swooning would have been nice. A good swoon's appreciated every now and then.
Hero.
Jesus Christ. So,
Would you like to live tweet the game with me?
yeah, we could have done that.
You can do it from your car in the driveway.
And so I'm downtrodden, and Paul's like, well, what do you want to do?
Go to the Brown Bear. What else you gonna
We
do?
should have went to the Brown Bear. I'm like, well,
That's the culmination
she
of
doesn't
the
want to
story.
see me. We'll just leave.
Oh.
And Paul's like, we came all this way. You had your hopes up. Give it another shot. So
The
I'm
voice
like,
of reason.
yeah. And he had a point.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
it was all or nothing at this point. So I'm like,
What a good fella.
trying to convince her to see me, and it wasn't going to happen. Like, nothing I could say was
Come
going
on,
to move
I'm
her.
throwing rocks at your bedroom window. I'm
Yeah.
missing. Come on.
I got the boombox outside your window playing in your eyes. What more do you need, woman? So anyways,
So
all
what'd you do?
that.
You guys just drove? What?
Drove back home. That was a fun 2.5 hours
Well,
ride
where
back
did
to
you
Mount
go?
Pleasant.
Where'd you go in Shelby? Did you just go to like the center of town?
We went to the center of town, yeah. I took a picture of the Shelby Memorial Walkway. I still have it on my phone as a
Just to
memory of the
remember.
time I was a dunce. And so that was a fun 2.5 hour ride back to Mount Pleasant, wallowing in my own rejection and self-pity. I'm like, I just want to journal about this. I want to get my feelings down on paper.
Can't wait to get to my MySpace.
But the thing was, it's all good in hindsight, really.
Yeah?
I mean, the thing is, this little leap of faith, taking an ill-advised road trip was enough
Yeah,
to start cracking me out of that little shell I had built around myself.
sure.
I mean, plus, it hardened me for all the years of rejection that were to follow. That was the first major gut. Well, it wasn't the first, but
did you ever talk to her again?
here and there, it was never the same, though. She's
Yeah.
got a kid now. I know that.
Oh, so you still interact with her? A little
I
bit?
haven't interacted with her in like a year.
You still? Oh, in a year.
Yeah.
Only a year.
Only a year. But that was after like 2 years of not talking to her, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the origin story of the Randy that stands before you right now. The evolution of a person.
What did you expect to happen?
Exactly. What did you expect to happen when you listened to this podcast? A happy ending? I used to be a little Randy, and now I evolved into Randy Hey Girl Hey, the cockiest, most sarcastic Pokemon ever, without any justification for that cockiness or sarcasm. Like, I don't know who I think I am, but I'm the cock of the walk, baby. And now you know, this explains, because I've never told this story before, why the jump into online dating was so easy and natural to me.
Sure.
Because I spent all that time talking to that lass, and I use that term loosely on that Twitter.com, which is the weirdest place to ever meet a person, but there it is.
Yeah.
And by the way, in that same group of Tiger's tweeters, there's a bunch of them that actually...
Was that your guys' group name?
No, it should have been.
Tigers Tweeters?
There's a bunch of them that like met up and got married and stuff and lived happily
What?
ever after.
Oh, that's where you got all the fucking ideas.
Of course, I wasn't one of those fuckers, but my God. Tommy, sometimes it takes a long trip to nowhere to jumpstart this continuing story of my life. And now I take chances. I go on adventures. I'm more self-assured. I don't feel losing or bad days. That was the beginning. Who knows how the ending will play out? Do you? I don't. Maybe more rejection and constant disappointment. This has been the Miserable Retail Slave Show. We'll see you next time.
Sure.
Bye-bye.